Hello, welcome to You Haven't Blanked That. I'm Forrest.
And this is Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Forrest.
So this week, for Coen Brothers Month,
Who are they?
my favorites,
Oh, okay.
we watched a little movie called Blood Simple.
Blood Simple, vampire flick. Love it.
Nope, not a vampire flick.
The owners of a seedy small-town Texas bar discovers that one of his employees is having an affair with his wife.
So, Jimmy, what did you think of Blood Simple?
Um,
No, okay, first off, let me kind of give you some context.
okay.
I don't know if you know, but this is the first Coen Brothers movie.
Okay.
You can tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yes. Okay.
I don't even know how to say this without being disrespectful or just rude or
You didn't like
just no, I liked it a
It's
lot.
fucking
I liked
great,
it a lot.
dude. It's so fucking
I
good.
think I liked it more because I could tell these are young directors and the young
But you could also kind of see them like the seeds of all their fucking.
oh
like,
yeah,
their
but
things.
there's parts of this film that I'm like, this is fantastic. Where it was the ending scene, where
That's very much Coen Brothers.
where,
It's always like that abrupt ending.
so which is fantastic. But that was great. But the scene where the assassin guy is literally lying underneath, half under, on the bathroom, and he's looking up underneath the sink, and they give you the shot of the sink from underneath. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Who what director is gonna throw you that little snippet of what was maybe a second long cutaway? You know what I mean? But I feel like it's perfect because they're constantly showing you what they're seeing. As that character, what's the last thing he sees? That's what you see.
It's that POV thing that Evil Dead does also.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that POV that they kind of, but they don't do it as long as Raimi did. They don't hold it as long as Raimi does.
Yeah, but they still give you enough to the point where great, because you're involved with these characters for so long. This movie is what, an hour and a half, hour 40.
About 90, yeah.
So when you watch it and you're like, okay, cool, you're growing, you're introducing these characters, and then now you're seeing actual what are they seeing from their point of view, and it's not a glorified view. I mean, it's just that's his last thing that he saw when he died, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But
Were you surprised at the cast at all?
Yeah, because you got Al from Quantum Leap in this bitch.
Who was that? Which one was that?
Al's the Beckett's buddy from the war. You remember he comes in with Ziggy, the little things, the little cigar.
I did not watch this. Is that was that Dan Hedaya?
That is
Marty.
Yeah.
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 Well, he was also in Addams Family, and
was he? Oh yeah, he was. He was the baker.
One.
Yeah,
the first one. He's and he's Cher's dad in Clueless.
He's always Al to me. But seeing him in this, it's funny because anytime I see anything with him in it, I automatically think it's a Quantum Leap episode. So it's okay, where's the Sam Beckett gonna pop up in the story?
Where's Scott Bakula?
Yeah, where is he? But
he's the main character.
But I thought it was such an interesting story because it starts off. First off, I love the opening where it's they're obviously in a fixed. This shot inside a fixed vehicle with a projection on the back end with the lights of the cars. And then it just ends up with them sleeping together, and you're okay, cool. But then I'm thinking regardless of wherever you are, you get to close your windows, your curtains if you're gonna be banging in a hotel room. But then the photos are taken of them sleeping together. Al calls in, asking if have he enjoyed his night, and it's thinking at first that took me. That was Marty.
I thought that was Visser the first time.
Yeah. I thought it was Marty.
Oh, no,
because he's
it's your husband. Yeah.
And then, but like the thing too, it's like
no, that was when they get to the house. When they get to his
no,
house.
because because later on he tells what's the guy's Visser, right?
Yeah.
He tells Visser, is like, yeah, I called. I know where they were. I didn't need you to take photos. And then
That's right.
But like when it comes down to it, like it's one of those where it's like I couldn't comprehend their relationship, the husband and wife, like where you're allowing, like your wife is sleeping behind your back to the point where it's just like she just doesn't care, and then like why are you so calm about it? Why aren't you angry?
Well, he wasn't though, because like he sneaks into the house at one point.
Right, but the thing is, like, he was just so very like casual and very calm throughout the whole thing. I'm like, dude, like this is like, who would act that way? But if it's been ongoing and you've already been a broken man for a long time.
But it wasn't. I think that was the first time they fought.
No, because he even tells what's the guy, the main guy,
Maurice, the black guy.
No, the boyfriend, the guy that's
Marty.
Marty's
Marty's
out.
Tells what's his face? Ray.
When Ray gets the Marty goes, that's fantastic. But when she starts telling you, it's like, I'm not fooling it. I'm not doing anything behind your back and blah 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 blah. Like you're gonna know. Like that's who she is. She uses people and she sleeps around, and you're gonna see it too. He goes, regardless if she's with me or not, you're gonna see it. And you're like, fuck, dude. Like she's a bit of a slut going around, and he's used to it because it's been happening multiple times that he's just like a broken dude. He still doesn't like it, but there's nothing he can do about it, because if he tells her to stop, she's saying like, I'm not cheating behind your back. And then so that's when like I'm like, okay, now I can see it. But they gave you that information so late that you're like, oh, okay, like because his character
don't give it that late. Relative to the movie, they don't give it that late. They give
not
it
relative
it's 15,
to
20 minutes in, but it's not like
it's not right away. Which is like it's just shocking. Which honestly, which is a smart move, because it has me kind of like, why aren't you doing shit? Which kind of gets me more involved in the story.
Well, I like the whole, I'm not a marriage counselor.
Yeah.
And then at that one point, what are you, a marriage counselor?
But like the whole thing too, it's like I knew certain key elements were going to pop up. Like once I saw certain things, I'm like, all right, this is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
When Lauren Visser pulls out his lighter and puts it down, and you see his name on it, because it's like maybe the first thing you see that's not in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Then you're like, that's going to come back to bite you in the ass, because your name's on it and it's shiny and it stands out. That's going to be whatever. And sure as shit, he leaves the lighter behind. You know what I mean? And then it's just all these little things that you start to see that you're like, okay, cool. So as an avid like fan of like films and like reading plot points, you know the key points of what's happening.
Yeah.
And you see them laid out, but they're so nicely laid out that you're like, okay, I'm with you on this story. But like, when it came down to like the third act of it, I was like, dude, this is a phenomenal story, because that's when you get the whole like the shooting where he walks in to be like, hey, this is what's going on, or no, he comes back to the bar, he's already shot and he thinks he's dead, and then he like fuck, and he takes his body out, and just his uncomfortableness with the whole thing, and then him trying to swap up the blood with his jacket, and like it's just the more like, these are all like fantastic scenes, because like, yeah, it's stupid to think, why would you do that? But like, if you're walking into that scenario, you would kind of want to help or clean up or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck. And then like when he brings him in the car and you notice him in the back, where you realize, oh shit, he's moving. Oh shit, he's still alive. You know what I mean? And then you're like, what the fuck? And then like when he starts digging at his grave, and then like, there's a part where I was like, all right, bitch, how much can you not tell he's got a gun in his hand? Because you see Al reach back, or Barney reach back and pull out his gun, he's just shaking it. But since it's already been used, which is great timing, because like you see the bullets being used, and he clicks, and it's just the empty chambers, you're like, oh, this is phenomenal. Or the part where like he's trying to get the body into the car, and like the truck driver's driving up. That's such an intense scene too.
Yeah.
And have him be still alive, like what the fuck, and then like have him vomit blood on his shoulder too. Oh, dude, it's just, you have these fantastic moments that like you only get when you like build on like a slow pace, which you do get from noirs. But I feel this is like a way better, way more modern noir story, where like you get some of the like the, I wouldn't say gore, but the realness to it. You know what I mean? And so like I honestly really enjoyed it, and especially like the last scene, like the last part of the fucking film, where and all this too is just fantastically well done. Because Ray thinks fucking Slutty McSlutston or whatever her name is
Abby.
Abby. Close. When Abby is like, he's like, when he comes back home after he buried Al, he's like, he was like, so yeah, I took care of it, and like she's being like, what are you talking about? Did you see Marty? And she's like, no, yeah, of course I did. You know what I mean? It's this vague like, the miscommunication is so vast, but they're completely aware. They're on two different tracks, and they have no idea. But the conversation still works between the two, and it's so beautifully written that you're like, dude, like they have. He thinks she's playing coy and being like quiet about it, and he like it's beautifully done. Like this is a really fantastic first grand slam of a film that they did. Like I was blown away.
So the reason why Raising Arizona is so crazy and cartoonish is that they wanted to make a movie that was the complete opposite
of this. Okay. And yeah, well, which it 100% is, because this is such a, it's I would have a hard time having friends sit down and get to the point where they're invested in this film, because I know they're not noir stuff. They're so used to like everything being quick and fast paced that they wouldn't be able to handle or have the patience to get to the good part. Because I believe the best part, the cinematography, the best scene is when you get to the bar. When you get to the bar and you focus on the white cons, and then like it's just going back and forth, and then like you see the cons jump on the bar, climb down, walk over to the jukebox, put in the song, walk back, climb back on the bar, do a little skip, and then walk back on the bar, and then go into the conversation about the Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
Fantastic! I was so enthralled through that because it was just one continuous like scene. I'm like, the camera work was fantastic, and like that right there was where it won me over. I'm like, I am in this film. I'm all about it. Let's see where it goes.
And Maurice was fucking solid too. Like I like that whole time playing Tears of a Clown.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then, but it's such a breath of fresh air to a genre of storytellings that you don't get anymore. And the fact that it was in color didn't take away from like it being a noir story, which because like a lot of times I feel color with noir stories kind of steal away like your focus.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. You don't focus on the parts you're supposed to because you're looking at how they colored the scene, not the thing in the scene.
Yeah, and with a lot of noir stories, you can notice it when you watch them, like the lighter, like for this film, they focused on it, but like since it was like such a dark silhouette and the lighter was so brilliantly shiny, like it catches your eye. Or like the gun, where it's just like it's beautifully lit, and it looks just like they took a old noir film, colorized it, but they lit it just right where it's like it shows you the gun, and it almost like remember like a lot of older films kind of zoom in on like the prop that you need to focus in. This one does it without the zoom in, but it does it so well that you're like, that's where you're either keeping up on like these are the like the weapons of Clue, you know what I mean? These are where they're at. This is the location. Like, and they did. This is by far the most impressive movie I've seen. Like I really enjoyed this film a lot.
Who do you think is the main character in this? Because it kind of jumps, because like Visser does that monologue at the beginning about
which
Texas.
is great, yeah.
And then it follows Ray, but Abby's the only one who survives. Like Ray dies, 15 minutes before the movie ends?
Yeah, so
like, he doesn't make it out.
I think it's Visser.
You think Visser's the main character?
100%, because you see him and like he's the only one you follow his story from beginning to end. He like everything else is just kind of like this is his job. This is Visser's job that he got to. This is the guy that hires Visser. This is the guy who is going on. And then like we then fall back to like, okay, who are the other players of this film? But then at the very end, what happens? Visser's death, and it's what he sees as the last thing that he dies. What happens to his hand? What happens with how does his death occur? And it's all Visser centric. So like, that's why I think he's the main character. Like he may not be in it like in the middle as much, but it's his story. It's his death, and that's what this honestly I'm shocked. I've never seen it. I'm shocked no one's ever brought up this movie to me before.
I'm surprised I haven't brought it up to you. Well, I did kind of a few times. I brought it up, but you were like, oh, maybe.
You can, honestly, like I was gonna have a friend of mine watch it with me. I'm like, these are the films I have to watch this month, and then he's like, do you want to watch them? And I knew he wasn't going to be for Macbeth. Like I knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I told him Blood Simple, and he goes, ooh. And then like I showed him the trailer, which the trailer makes it seem like like a
not the same
like
type of
like a
movie.
70s horror film.
Well, that last fucking part is very horror-ish.
Right,
Like,
but the film made it look like there was a killer going around killing all these like people. That's what it felt like. That's what I took out of it too. I'm like, what kind of fucking movie is this? Because I remember you said it was noir. I'm like, this is a slasher film. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But like, the film is completely different from what the trailer shows. So I was like, okay, like, which is a great surprise because like he didn't want to see it because he was like, I don't want to see it as an old slasher film or a slasher film. And I'm like, I get it. But this was not it at all. Like, I way impressed. Like, I wish they would do more films like this. And like, I like it too because you see the youth of the filmmakers, like where they're trying to be bold and they.
Are you talking people in general or the Coens?
The Coens. Like,
Okay. Find The Man Who Wasn't There.
The Man Who Wasn't.
It's another noir movie. It's
Okay.
Billy Bob Thornton. Find The Man Who Wasn't There. And
When did you see this movie?
I bought a set. I got a Coen Brothers set from somebody, and it has Miller's Cross. It has all those movies. It has Miller's Crossing. It has
But how old were you?
in the last 10 years.
Okay.
I got that. I don't know if I bought the set or if I got it. I feel like I got it for Christmas from like Lisa or somebody. But I may have bought it with Christmas money. I feel like it was around Christmas I bought it. But it's Blood Simple. It's Raising Arizona. It's Miller's Crossing, and I feel like there's one more in there. But I keep all my Coens together.
Yeah, like, but this is the like
Watch
when you watch young filmmakers, they're so
watch Miller's Crossing.
Okay.
And watch Miller's Crossing is like the third
Okay.
or fourth. I want to say third. Let me check. Go ahead and tell me.
But when it comes to like young filmmakers, I feel a lot of them like know the industry standard of like this is the baseline of films that we like. So mimic this as much as you can and try to make it better. That they don't try to like show you how they see it or they don't show references of films that they like. And with this one, I feel like the Coens obviously love noir films, you know what I mean? And they took moments or scenes or parts of films that they liked and just like amped it up. I feel like the Coen brothers would be the Tarantino's of noir by just watching this film.
No, after you see this, no,
just this film.
Because Tarantino was more hyper.
But which is the same thing with this. Because like if you take these noir stories and you make them more like hyper and more like modernized, this film would be that too.
That's what you think that is.
100%.
So it's Blood Simple, then Raising Arizona, then Miller's Crossing. So watch Miller's Crossing if you like Blood Simple that much.
Yeah.
Miller's Crossing is a prohibition gangster story.
Okay.
And when you find out what the story is and the twist and when it gets to the end of the movie and everything,
yeah,
like you're like, holy fuck.
But I do like the fucking clean fucking chop end of the movie.
Yeah,
Boom.
I mean that's most of their movies.
Because like when it was like that death scene, like and then like especially he's like he goes, "Ma'am, I'll tell Marty if I see him." Because like she still thinks Marty's still alive, which is it blew my mind that she was still like on that because like she wouldn't have got the answers that Marty was like dead, you know what I mean? Everybody else knew, but her. But yeah, dude, it's fantastic. But he also doesn't. He thinks Visser still thinks that he shot Marty and he died at that bar, but he didn't. Like his death was way more gruesome than anything else.
Yeah,
but it's like,
and then that's the thing is then Ray thinks that Abby did it because it's her gun because Visser took her gun.
Right. Dude, it's just like it's such a clusterfuck of a film.
The Man Who Wasn't There.
So
okay,
good.
So Miller's Crossing is going to have that young filmmaker thing that you're talking about.
Yeah,
and I think you're like that. The Man Who Wasn't There is kind of like this.
Yeah.
The way that story goes.
Yeah.
Is kind of like how this story goes.
Because that's another thing what I like about Evil Dead is because like Sam Raimi when he filmed that, you could tell he's a young filmmaker. Why? Because he doesn't follow the rules because he doesn't know the rules to making films. So he did random stuff. That scene, the opening scene where like the camera's obviously on top of the car and it's going down. Like, how fantastic is that scene? But no one else would have done it because they would think, oh, like it's dumb. But he needed that shot, and he knew this is probably the best way to do it. And you get that fantastic opening scene. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you get like people not knowing the rules or not knowing how like what the standard is. I feel if they have a good enough story to tell, they'll fucking make it work any way they can, and like that's why I like younger directors. A lot of them are dog shit because well, not that they're dog shit, but they're just they're ingrained. Like, I got this job, I don't want to fuck it up. What are the standards of the industry? Let's just do it that way and make it clean. And you get these like solid standard films, but they just all seem so cookie cutter to the point where it's like, are you? I don't respect you as a director because you're not taking chances.
Yeah, that's
Hitchcock took giant chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Spielberg, huge random stuff. But the thing is, like, unless you have a clear image of what you want in your mind of how you see it, and if you don't go out of your way to fuck off, this is what I'm doing it, like, you're not gonna get those scenes. You know what I mean? And then like even the scene, like I was so impressed with like the scene where Ray is he gets out of the car. And then, like, he's, like, figuring out where to bury him, and he's just running through that field, and you got the billboards in the background. It's just such a contrast of, like, yeah, dude, like, we're going from, like, we're going to murder. Like, because you see the red, and you see the red again, and then it's just, like, and he's there, and he looks back at the car, and you see the fumes coming out of the back, and you see the red taillights. It's like, yeah, this is going to be a bloody scene coming up. And, like, but it happens so quickly, so naturally, you don't see that, like, there's going to be a bloody incident in a second, but they foreshadow it so like, dude, like, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic film.
So they wrote a movie with, they made a movie with the Coen, with Sam Raimi, right?
Which one?
Crime Wave.
Never seen it. Never heard it.
Not the best movie. They wrote it. Sam Raimi directed it.
Uh-huh.
Bruce Campbell's in it, but like the studio got a hold of it and kind of fucked it up. It's kind of screwball-y. Like, it's very much the Sam Raimi we know.
Uh-huh.
Like, when you see it, you're like, oh, this is like the jokey Three Stooges, kind of screwball. Like how more screwball than Evil Dead 2 is.
Okay.
If it was like a screwball, like 1930s, 1940s, like Cary Grant type movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
But it's written by the Coens, directed by, it's called Crime Wave. It's alright, like, give it a watch if you're a fan of both these people, so you might find that charm in there, because it's kind of both, it's two of my favorites.
Are they young directors, or are they younger then, or are they...
Yeah, it's like 83.
Okay,
it's
so
like
yeah,
a couple years after Evil Dead.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
I just rewatched Evil Dead. I had to do an editorial on the scariest movie for you.
Okay.
And I always think
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I turned it in, and it was more personal essay than it was editorial, so I had to go back and redo it.
Oh, yeah.
It came out okay, I think.
Okay.
I'll send it to you when it's there. But they wrote a movie called Suburbicon.
Suburbicon, okay.
And it was... Yes, you're thinking that because, yes, George Clooney made that movie, and that's based on a Coen Brothers script that he kind of used.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Give that a watch too. It's interesting because they'll write for people every once in a while.
Yeah.
They'll just write and they won't direct.
That's a bummer. But I guess like if you
if you watch Bridge of Spies, that Spielberg movie.
That's Coen?
That's the Coens. The Coens
so
did that.
My thing is just like, yeah, like you might have an idea for a story, but if you're not that passionate for it, like I feel giving it to a different director would probably do it way more justice.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. Yeah, it's...
But being for this movie, being such a small cast, like it's just, I was impressed. Like I don't think there was a wasted scene in the entire film.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It was... I dug it.
Yeah.
We ask a question each week, but I really don't want him anywhere near this movie.
Oh, yeah, let's see. The Fell Dog, where would we put him? No, the only place I would feel like he would be good was, you know what? Him as Visser would be interesting. Yeah, I think that would be cool, but like I kind of like the actor how he is. But also,
but I'm a big Emmet Walsh fan because you've seen him in.
He's been in a lot of things.
He's in one of my favorite movies.
He's not in Evil Dead.
He's in The Jerk.
He's in The Jerk. Yeah. But like I'll put Corey.
He's also, for in all intents and purposes, he's also in Romeo and Juliet. Romeo plus Juliet.
Oh yeah, he's not Romeo's father.
He's the chemist.
He's the chemist. Yeah, that's right. I would say, I don't know, just stick him in the bar somewhere.
Yeah. I don't want him as Maurice. I like Maurice.
Yeah, no.
Like, he could be an extra in this movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, this was I was blown away how tight it was, and the film is short. Like it's.
No, it's good. I think it's one of the shortest Coens.
But I liked it. It was just I thought it was really, really good. I was super impressed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, being there first, like they really nailed this down.
Yeah. You know, people don't like The Big Lebowski. They like people didn't like The Big Lebowski when it came out. Like critics and shit because they did Fargo and they went to Lebowski.
Really?
And
well, because Lebowski's like, more kind of.
They're like, yeah, they're making this dick and fart joke movie after they just did like they just won all these Oscars for fucking Fargo.
Yeah.
Awards for Fargo. And then they go, and they're like, and then you guys go to this.
Yeah, but the Big Lebowski is interesting because like you have that church of Lebowski, that's a real thing. And it's so bizarre.
Well, there's that. I mean, there's that, and I mean that's technically a noir movie.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah,
technically The Big Sleep.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Forrest.
What are you blanking?
Oh, man. So I got into the Agatha Harkness.
Okay, so you're watching. Okay, we didn't watch this week's episode. What do you think of it so far? You into it?
No, not really.
You're not?
Not so much. I just need to know where the story goes. But
I mean, it was obvious that kid was going to be Wiccan the whole time too.
100%. And so
like I don't like why they're like, oh, we're going to be like, but no, who the fuck else is it going to be?
Yeah, and then I like how they. It's pretty good. They have another character from WandaVision pop up that you're like, oh, I'm glad to see that person like do another like reprise of his role. I'm like, oh, that's dope. But it's
so waiting for Mephisto.
Yeah, right. But no, this episode was good. It was just interesting because like the episode starts off. This current one, I'm not trying to ruin anything for you, but it starts off very much like, okay, cool. Like if you're Wiccan, like how are we from WandaVision to here? Like what happened? And you get that answer. So I was like, oh, cool. Like now I know.
Because wasn't Wiccan one of those kids?
Which ones?
Was it Wiccan one of Scarlet Witch's kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I'm like, okay, cool. So like now we got like confirmation.
Do they kind of do the same thing that they did with Wanda and Max in the WandaVision show, where it shows them as kids, like after they run through their gauntlet of all the TV show eras. Right. Remember they showed that thing where it's them, and it shows them inside their like Russian apartment.
Oh yeah.
Do they kind of do that with Wiccan?
No. But like it's kind of like we're like, okay, cool. If this is where we're at, this is where we're at. This is great. But the episode kind of leads you like it's just to explain how we got Wiccan to where we are, and I'm like, damn it! Like I'm waiting for the next episode. I'm not too impressed with the show. It's good. It's just like
I'm not into witchy things. Lisa's into it right now because she's into witchy things. Like she liked that witch is not the one on AMC. That's the what's her face's world because they have all Anne Rice's shit.
Oh yeah,
but the one on they had another witch show that was on Shudder when I had Shudder for a bit, and it was like something of witches or something, and it had I don't know. She watches all the witchy shows.
I like witches, but for whatever reason, I'm just not into it as much anymore. But like I used to be a huge fan of like even like the campy stuff, like the Witches of Waverly Palace or Manor Place. Yeah. Like I like that show, and then I also liked the Coven season for American Horror Story.
I don't like what's his face. I don't like Ryan Murphy. Because anytime I hear anything about Ryan Murphy, he seems like he's kind of a piece of shit. It's like I don't need this.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other things to watch, and I can just not.
Yeah. Ooh, but I am watching a brand new show.
What's that?
Well, new to me, but I don't know if you know these actors because they're kind of like kind of like
Okay.
whatever. But it's Selena Gomez,
Fucking, I started it. Every time I started, I never get to finish. I know what you're gonna say.
Steve Martin,
Yeah, I know
and
what
Martin
you're-
Short.
I haven't gotten to finish it. Every time I start it,
I love it. It's good.
every time I start it, I get like an episode or two in, and then I get busy and I don't get to finish it.
Yeah.
And then I get an episode or two in and I get busy. I've tried like 3 times, and it's not out of like I don't like any of these people because Steve Martin's like my favorite.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
The mystery, the way that kind of like it builds up.
They're
on
like,
it. Like
3 or
it's
4
really,
seasons.
it's
They're
really
doing
good.
a 4th season of it out here.
Yeah, it's still going on now. Like it comes out
Are
every
you-
Tuesday. So I started watching it, but it's one of those where it's like, oh dang, like I got so used to just binging it that to watch it.
Oh, so
weekly
you're
is-
all the way
yeah.
through it already.
Yeah, but I like it. The first season's great. Second season, I like the little twist they did with it. You're like, okay, cool. And the third season was not my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. But it's just it's really good because like Steve Martin and
Martin Short. Have you seen
Martin
the,
Short,
Have you seen the thing on
them
Netflix?
together? They're just so catty and just Broadway-y.
Have you seen that
it's
Netflix
good.
thing that they do? It's from I think from like the pandemic, so it's about a good 3 or 4 years old.
Uh-huh.
But there's a comedy thing with both of them because they were doing a show and they
Oh,
recorded
really?
one of them and they did that. They put it up on Netflix.
Oh no, I'll have to check it out.
You have Netflix again or no?
I have T2's Netflix.
I read some books. I read a book called Incidents Around the House.
Okay.
It's by the guy who wrote Bird Box, and it's this little girl. She keeps seeing this giant monster in her house, and then the monster starts following the family around.
So that happened to a friend of ours in high school. I'm not gonna mention names.
But yeah, and it's interesting, and it's pretty creepy. It was a good read.
Okay. Was it
this-
psychological based or was it like monsters?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Because it's the monster says this creepy thing where it's like where it tells the little girl, "Can I be inside your heart?"
Ugh.
Yeah, and it's asking her that the whole time. It's creepy.
Yeah.
So creepy.
Is it demonic?
No, it's like the monster in a closet type of thing.
Okay.
It's like a monster in the closet type of story, and it's just fucking weird. It's good, and I kind of understand Bird Box a little bit more now after reading that book. Because when I go back and read Bird Box, I was just kind of meh on Bird Box. Did you see Bird Box?
I did see Bird Box.
What'd you think, man?
Yeah, it was alright.
And it was kind of like when I saw No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
You've seen the No Country
I've
for Old
seen it.
Okay.
I liked it more the third watch than I did the
Oh, I
previous
loved
two.
it. I loved it the first watch. Like it was weird because there's not a lot of talking. But when you read, have you ever read a Cormac McCarthy book?
No.
You didn't read The Road?
No.
Okay.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I did.
Okay. As soon as I started trying to read The Road, which I could never get into The Road, but as soon as I read, I think I got through all The Road. But when you read his writing, that movie made so much more sense, and how that's why they adapted it that way.
Oh, okay.
Like, go back and watch that movie, and then go back and read one of his books. Like, it doesn't have to be that book.
Yeah.
But, like, go back, and it 100% made sense, like, why the first, like, 20, 30 minutes there's, like, this much dialogue.
Okay. Oh, I started another show.
What?
The Penguin.
Okay, cool. I'm only, like, an episode in.
I'm also an episode in.
What do you think so far?
I love it. I think
I
it's
like it.
fantastic.
But I like that Batman movie.
Yeah.
I'm
okay with the Batman movie. I thought it was good. It's just, to me, it was just like, I felt like
It's supposed to lead
it focused way too much on building Gotham than it did, like, on the Batman aspect of it. But I was like, okay, whatever.
But you can make that same argument about the Tim Burton Batman. That Tim Burton Batman focuses way more on the Joker than it does on the Batman.
Okay, yeah.
The first Batman,
Yeah.
the very first.
Because the first, like, the thing about those Warner Brothers early Batman movies is that there's a logic behind,
those ones.
there's a logic between Gotham the way it is and how it ends up by Batman Forever.
But you know, though, they also do this thing in the newer ones where it's Gotham is a character.
Yeah, well, like, and then, like which it is, but like in the Batman Forever and was it Batman and Robin? There's a reason why Gotham looks the way it does, and it's because Max Schreck, because he's the one who's like he's gonna put Gotham in a power grid like no other, and like it's like it literally they take that story and they lead it forward, which I always like, but This one,
yes. But
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I get it now, but like they never put like.
They never really put a pinpoint on it, but they say it, and you see it.
Where do they say it in the newer ones?
The
last two, like 3 and 4.
So because Gotham is like where Batman Forever, that's where you see more neon lights because of Two-Face, and like you see Gotham starting to light up.
My thought on it,
by the fourth one, it's just lit up like.
But I always thought that it was
a director's choice.
Well, yeah, but I always thought it was him doing like kind of the '60s, like it was supposed to be like a movie version of that, like that. The Michael Keaton was like the real world.
Oh,
Batman,
and then we're
and
slowly
this is like a movie version of Batman.
Oh, okay.
That's how I always interpreted those. That's what I heard.
No, I always took it as like this is just the evolution of like where it's at. So I'm like, I was okay with it. But the Gotham, on Batman or the Batman and the Penguin, I love it because like they've already built up that world that now that you're to the point where you're watching the Penguin and you don't need to explain it because it all makes perfect sense. The way that everything works.
I keep hearing good things about it too. Like I've seen some things that kind of spoil shit for me.
Yeah.
About what happens in the next few episodes. So I'm like 2 or 3 episodes. I'm just so busy I haven't had a chance. And they're like an hour. Like I don't know how long the second episode is, but that first episode was an hour 20.
Yeah.
That was like an 80-minute movie, and I'm like, fuck, that's a long. I think,
but it's
like
good.
I can
it's
usually,
so
I can. What I'll usually do is I'll start a show that's like an hour.
Yeah.
And then I can start it. And it'll take me like 30 or 40 minutes to do laundry, like to like fold clothes.
Oh, so you finish before.
And then I finish it before it's over, and then I've only got like 20 minutes to finish, and I can go do what else I need to do. And I was usually doing that every other week. But I just I haven't had the time to sit and fucking do that.
Yeah, no, but it's phenomenal. Like I'm blown away by like just the character development with the Falcones and everything. You're just like, dude, this is really in depth and it's very like, I'm enthralled with it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm digging that so far too. But I'm only the 1 episode in. So I was pretty much like, I'm not gonna read anything else Stephen King this year. Because I fucking...
So would you read?
Because I fucking got through all of The Dark Tower, and I'm like, I don't need any more Stephen King this year. Like, I'm good. Like,
right.
I did, like, how many did I do? Like 4 or 5 Dark Tower books at the end of like, this year?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need to do this anymore.
So what'd you read?
Holly.
Okay.
I was hoping I didn't have to read the one before it, but it turns out I had to read the one before it, If It Bleeds, It Leads.
Oh, yeah.
Because it goes, there's things that they reference in this. It was an interesting book. I like the way he does true like crime stories like that.
Yeah.
But like you need to read. Have you ever read any of his he has like hard crime stories? You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Like pulpy type comics.
Yeah.
Not comics, like pulpy type like paperbacks.
Yeah.
So there's one called Later that came out that's really good and that's got kind of a shining aspect to it. There's one called Joyland that's really good.
Okay.
And then there's another one called The Colorado Kid, which is you got to read that one because you have to pay a lot of attention. But you have to focus on that book.
Okay. Question. I have sorry to jump away from what you're saying, but I saw a movie today, half of it, and I was like, I don't know whether I should finish it or not.
What's that?
Two Faces of January.
Two Faces of January.
Yeah. So it's a thriller crime story about after this guy kills a detective, a con artist, Viggo Mortensen, and his wife Kristen Dunst must trust a potential dangerous stranger, Oscar Isaac, to help them
heard of this movie.
Get out of Greece. No, like I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is like it's interesting, but like.
Oh, okay. So do you know who wrote that?
No.
Patricia Highsmith wrote the story. Who wrote Strangers on the Train, The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh,
like
because it gives that vibe. It gives that vibe a lot. That's why I was like, oh, like should I keep watching it or not? Like, but I'm like literally halfway through it. And I'm like, but like it was one of those where it was a busy day for me, so I couldn't really focus. So that's why I paused it and I'm like,
yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't even know if I want to watch the rest of it.
So I went to see Green Day again.
Nice.
I got to see them twice.
Yeah.
So we went to Petco.
Okay.
Have you ever been to Petco?
Yeah.
That is hands down my favorite ballpark I've ever been to.
It's beautiful. I like the back area with the dogs and the little park area. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even see that part, but like, okay, I think they had it all. They had booths for like fucking merch and shit.
Yeah.
But I like the food choices there, and they're reasonably priced. And I fucking enjoyed myself. It's a really nice baseball park.
Yeah.
No,
and
it was great
perfect because it's
stayed,
right in the middle of downtown. You can get to it so easily.
We stayed right next to the convention center.
Okay.
At that hotel, like going like literally next door to it.
Yeah.
And it took us 10 minutes to walk home.
Yeah.
It was great.
Downtown San Diego is great to get around with anywhere, especially if you just want to get there faster. The scooters are everywhere. Yeah. So you get those birds and fly around.
Yeah, I liked it. We didn't even have to hop on one of those little trains to get on. We just fucking walked.
Those trolleys are very convenient. I do love those a lot.
Yeah. But Green Day was good. Green Day plays for 2.5 hours. Jeez. I don't know if we talked about this last one. So.
No, we did not.
Yeah, Green Day plays for 2.5 hours. They open up with The American Dream is Killing Me.
Okay.
And then they play all of Dookie.
Of course.
And they play some hits in the middle. They kind of hit everything once, but and then they played all of American Idiot.
That's a weird.
Well,
I guess. Yeah.
No. It's 20 for American Idiot and 30 for Dookie.
Okay.
They're 10 years apart.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what it was for.
I'd rather hear Nimrod than.
See, that was my thing. Is I was like, "Where's more Nimrod songs?" I like Nimrod. I like
every other album from Green Day is probably fantastic.
Like Dookie's good. I like Kerplunk. I like Dookie. What's the one after Dookie? Like that one's a fantastic fucking album.
After Dookie, it is Insomniac.
Insomniac, yes. There's some great Green Day songs on Insomniac.
Yeah.
And
Warning.
Warning. Okay, Warning is fun. I
like Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, I think, is just a compilation, though.
Yeah, I think, but I like all my favorite ones.
I listened to Warning because they only played Minority off of that, and I was like, oh, I haven't revisited that album in a while.
No Fun Mondays? I don't think I've ever heard that.
So that he did during the pandemic.
Okay.
So no, every week he did a cover. So that's all him doing covers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a fun album. The kids and I listen to that album a lot.
Hey, Forrest.
Hey, Jimmy.
So for this month, we're doing Coen Brothers movies.
But it's going to be Coen Brother for this next one.
And it's going to be a little film called Macbeth. Next week.
Well, that's going to do it for the episode this week. If you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our Instagram.
At YHBlankThat.
Or you can email us at yhblankthat@gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.